What's that in the sky? Is it a bird? It's a plane. No, it's an oblong sphere out of orbit from its central sun. It is Planet Collingwood. Welcome to Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean here on Revolution Radio Studio A. A big thank you to Why Not and the gang for the Y-Files, which is quite good. You know, you go from the Y-Files to a completely new planet, being Planet Collingwood. So it's all, you know, we are co-creating this experience. So let's co-create. Tonight's show is brought to you by Q Heal. You can have a look at qheal.com. It's q-heal.com, which is QHHT, which is the quantum healing hypnotherapy procedure. And if you're in Melbourne and Sydney, so that's what, 4 of you that are listening, go to the website and Paul will give you a great session. I'm still not reeling from my session, however, I've changed from it. You talk to your higher self, which is yourself. So you're talking to yourself. Only if we were taught this in primary school and we could do it. Well, a lot of people do talk to themselves. Then other people are scared of themselves. Thank you, quarantine. If you'd like to join myself, if you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please go to freedomslips.com/ or revolution.radio and donate what you can. Click on the Patreon button. Just $5 a month will help us out. Or if you want to get a bit sneaky, $10 a year. That's $1 a month, and you get 2 months for free with hardly any ads. There's bumpers in between, and obviously sponsorships for said shows. But there you are. This is an open round table, and I've already a guest that I've allowed out of his box. Yes, you say Gimp, I say Cortek. Cortek.
Well, I get to keep the suit. Just tell me I get to keep the suit.
This is so snug. I love this. Yes.
Shiny.
So greetings, my fellow divine co-creative celestial beings of the now, or as we say in Australia, hey.
G'day.
There you going, all right?
Oh, yeah, nah. Yeah.
I believe that's very Australian. It is worldwide, but we answer questions by going, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah, this is not completely just black and white thing. It's a rich tapestry. Yeah, nah.
Exactly. Yeah, duality at its best. Yeah, nah.
It's all in the intonation.
Oh, exactly. For a while there, I think in Sydney, it could be across Australia. Every statement sounds like a question. And unfortunately, the millennials have picked up on that. It's like, come on, you sound like a moron. Not people from Sydney don't sound like morons.
Unless generally, when you've got an upward inflection on everything, you sound like an idiot.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, last time I was in Sydney, it was a fantastic experience. The trick is not to mention you're from Victoria. Because they turn. No. Oh, g'day, how you going? Blow it 20 minutes hanging out. Oh, you're a fantastic person. Where do you live? Melbourne. I want you to leave. It's a.
I'm very sorry that happened. As the ambassador.
Yeah. I don't judge entire countries and cities on one person.
Really?
Yeah, no.
That's what everyone did.
I think we've got onto something here. We may have found this could be a problem that humanity needs to weave through. Yes, in the chat room, it's like calling all wood. I'm like, I'm a comedian. That sounds pervy. Yeah, wooding planet call. Yeah, that's a Bidenism. I realised too, you know how you have the Planet Collingwood mind blank? I'm just impersonating Joe Biden when I do that now. I've realised.
Classic. You can just weasel your way out of it.
And because I want to stay on air, I won't actually say what Joe Biden said, but he said flags and .com. So imagine what he actually said. Someone that likes to talk because, well, it's an audio medium. So if he turns up on the show and doesn't talk, it's kind of rude. But we have B. Young in the house, yo, my bandmate from Public Energy. Brendan Young, how are you, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Monty? Thanks for having me on, everybody.
I'm going well. It's that sort of once again, I have to talk on radio for 2 hours, and year 5, it could be a grind. So then I realized, no, I've got into comedy, so it's quite fun because
It is.
yeah, as Bill Hicks says, what it's an insane world, and I'm proud to be part of it. And well, yeah, because why would you, David Icke? Why would you want to be sane in an insane world? That's true, David. That is so true. Yeah, and so here we are to point and laugh and make people giggle, and then heavy in between the jokes is heavy information to help you evolve.
Well, you're Tolkien. We've talked about Tolkien a lot. I believe you're a Tolkien guy, fan, Hobbit head, if you will. I believe.
Yes,
it's safe to say. I think some of the Lord of the Rings was filmed in Australia. And
New Zealand, but close. Mind you, Australia, anything from New Zealand, Australia does claim Russell Crowe.
Anything New Zealand.
Yeah.
But Weta Workshop is also, they have a thing in Australia as well.
That would make sense because it's a 3-hour plane flight.
Yeah, like the marshes and stuff.
Yeah. As well as Queensland because of the weather. Sydney has Fox Studios are in Sydney, and even Melbourne has some studios now because we like Hollywood's money. We don't like Hollywood. We like its money. Right. There's a movie called, is it Upgraded? It's filmed by Lee Winnell, who started the
Did
Saw.
he do Saw?
franchise.
Yeah, he's an Australian dude who was in that music show on a Saturday morning. What was it? That one.
Not The Factory.
The kind of cool one. Recovery, yeah.
Yeah, called Recovery, yeah. He used to hang out at Goo here in Melbourne, so I've drunk with him.
Geez, he did well out of Saw.
Cool.
Well, yeah. Quick story
At
about
least
that.
It's not a documentary about the guy from Idiocracy. Upgrade.
Upgrade.
No. But Upgrade was made in Melbourne, and afterwards, then I found out it was made. So I have to watch it again so I can look at it. That's the only reason. Half the movies that are made in Melbourne, I just watch for local landmarks. Couldn't give a toss about the plots.
I saw one in Perth. They were in Perth the other day, and on this. I think it's the show called The Nevers. It's a really great show on HBO Max, written by Josh Whedon.
Okay. I've heard of that. I haven't seen it yet. So
much stuff's being shot in Australia.
But I think they mentioned Perth. I don't know. Am I wrong about this? Maybe I'm thinking of another thing. But
they could have mentioned it because they try and make it global and being in Australia and half, about a quarter of Australia, Hollywood stars are from Australia as well. So we shall see. But with Saw, the director and the writer actually borrowed $7,000, filmed a scene, and that as like a demo and showed that to the studio, and they said, okay, you can actually create the movie, and then there's 8 sequels. So
and they got the first one done, and there was a great success, and the guys went, aren't you already writing the sequel? And they went, what? Because it only kind of just come out, but they go, if you're not already writing this, I mean, what are we doing? Jesus. So yeah, part 8.
Yeah. I don't like all the gruesome bits, but the plot's pretty good. So yeah.
My buddy Thomas Sheridan did a video today on on the Blair Witch Project, so sort of a review and his interpretation and analysis of the Blair Witch Project, that film. You guys remember the film?
Yeah. What do you say?
It very quickly, to add to that, if the budget for that movie was $50,000, and it made millions at the box office, as well as it created its own genre of found footage.
Yeah, it was kind of the first shaky camera one, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's and ever since then, it's called found footage now, and they use it, and it's been overplayed.
Not shocking anymore.
It's like, okay, so many tropes. Even with superhero movies, they're starting to wane because it's like, look, another one. Anyway, someone that probably doesn't watch any of this stuff is HiJacker, and due to free will, he can do that. HiJacker, are you there, sir?
Pretty good, Monty. How am I coming in?
Yeah, sound good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so we got an Australian tonight, basically, and so I've got one of your renowned Australians front and center. So
Mel Gibson.
No, well, let's see if he's from New
Mel
Zealand.
Gibson.
Go ahead.
Is it?
Well, you
is
know,
it-
Mel Gibson, you remember Mad Max, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gi-
Oh, yeah.
Giving all the ladies heart attacks.
Right. Well, look at the first scene when you see the cop in the diner.
You talking about the original Mad Max one?
Right, the original Mad Max.
Yeah.
Take a look at that reptilian eye. I mean, he's got like a straight up, you know, rattlesnake eye. It's absolutely unbelievable. But I didn't call in about that. I didn't call in about reptilian shapeshifters, lizard people, or you know, the serpent seed line. I called in about what your own son, Australia's own son, John David Oates, did tonight in reverse speech on Rents.
What's he done this time?
Absolutely unbelievable. So he reversed the speech of Kamala Harris, Fauci, let me think of it, Gates. He did like 6-7 of these people.
What were they saying?
And so, right, and it was all about the vaccine, the virus. It was all about mask, all that kind of stuff. He reversed it. Absolutely incredible.
Huh.
Criminality, con, money, evil, gold. He talks in one sense about, you need to go ahead and get tested, and then in reverse speech, the test is the weapon. I mean, unbelievable amount of reverse speech. Now, Cortex, I know you got the Australian disease. You know what the Australian disease is, right?
Yeah.
Do you?
What is it?
No, I don't.
Liberace?
Who does it?
No, Liberace was
That's
special.
a bad joke, actually.
Yes, it is.
What is it,
I'm
HiJacker?
fine,
Bad
ladies and
joke.
gentlemen.
Forget that. Sorry.
Right. The Australian disease I heard from another Australian, and that is there's something about Australians, they cannot stand when somebody, another Australian, gets above them or gets another job.
I know what you're referring to. It's called the tall poppy syndrome.
Really?
And basically, there's an element of if someone's very successful, you try and cut them down to size or down to your level. It's not every Australian. There's a balance where it's so the ego doesn't go out of control, and so you pull someone down a peg a bit. But if it's a negative connotation, it's basically from jealousy. It's like, well, look at them, they're successful and they're worldwide known. Clearly, he's a dick.
It's so true. But, I mean, as well, if we see someone famous on the street, we won't run up to them because we, say, well, if that was me, I'd want to respect your privacy or whatever, Yep. But generally, yeah. I mean, they're just people.
Now, I'm not sure how many people on the listening will know all these people. Bill Hunter, I stood opposite him at a tram stop. Bruce Spence, who's actually in Mad Max 2 and 3. He's the gyrocopter. I walked past him on Brunswick Street, and I walked past Guy Pearce in Box Hill because that's where he grew up.
Wow.
And so, that's my claim to fame.
He's Australian?
Yeah, Guy Pearce is Australian. He started out in a soap opera called Neighbours.
He was in Neighbours, yeah.
Yeah, his character was called Mike. And then he broke out and just went gangbusters with everything that he's done. So, I thank you for bringing that up, HiJacker. I forgot about that because I don't care when people do that.
Oh, no. So every Australian I met in the United States, there's only one way I can really put it. Their head cases, they are like Italians, they're like Jews, they're like Louisianians, but they're a little bit different. Australians, they got a god complex to them. Like they can do anything. It's like, I met this one guy in Charleston, South Carolina. I was selling all my junk, all at a flea market or whatever. Anyways, he was going out into the forest of South Carolina, and he was putting together laurel things for Christmas and wreaths and stuff like that. and he made like a couple $1,000 where I only made like a couple hundred. And I just remember the spirit of the Australians. We can do, and it's like you got a God complex, and I think that's where you get that clash among Australians where you think you are a God, you want to know what I did, I mean, there's something to that where John David Oates really made it. I mean, he really hit on something, and then other people want to pull him down. Oh, you're not that big. You didn't really figure it out.
Yeah, there's a balance.
There's something to that spirit. Talk about that, Monty, because that does seem to be. It's Australian in nature. I haven't quite got my hands on it, but.
Well, I would like to point out all the people that you've met. There's a reason we let them out of the country. We don't like you, Dave. Go to the United States. There you go. Go away. Yeah. So don't judge the Australians who left the country. Most of us are nice here. So, but there is that tall poppy syndrome. Yeah, it's a balance between positive and negative. The positive is not to let someone's ego go out of control and become a diva. However, it comes across for the negative of jealousy and just jealousy. Someone who I'm not jealous of.
Oh, sorry. Ooh.
Oh, we've been joined by the Viking. I couldn't think of a segue, and then I was interrupted. So I'll just keep talking till I think of it. No, I won't. Viking, how are you?
I'm doing good, guys. So just kind of I drop in and say hi.
Evening.
Hey, Viking.
Hello.
Viking, man, I'm going to give you an ass beating tonight. My God, why'd you drop in?
Mainly because it's a comedy show and we're all nice here. It's not an octagon. Like, come on, old man, I'll take you.
Thunderdome.
Well, before we get to Viking and all the nonsense about QAnon and Trump coming back, before we get to that, let's really talk about what John David Oates, did tonight about all these politicians with reverse speech, basically saying, it's all a big con. It's a big lie. We're going to make a lot of gold out of it. The test is the weapon. I mean, it went on and on with Gates.
So
all of them. I mean, they're all in on it. This whole thing was set up. This whole virus thing, and this whole jab, the test. I mean, somebody really put a lot of thought into this.
Go ahead, Brandon. Yeah, go ahead, Brandon. You got a question.
With reverse speech, does that mean like Gates and all these people like intentionally are saying these things in reverse?
No, I think it's more like their true intention is coming forth when you reverse the speech.
Yeah, you can hear their intention comes through. If they're kind of lying with their forward speech, the intention is in the reverse speech. If you can hear it as well.
Sometimes,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And the problem I have with it, but the problem I have with it as a Christian. So basically, what the reverse speech is, and I do have a problem with it because it interferes with my theology, so to speak.
How does it interfere with your theology for a second?
I'm getting ready to tell you.
Sorry.
So when I talk to you like I'm talking to you right now, you're English, I'm English. We basically understand our language. I'm talking to you one way. So the New Ager says, no, there's actually a oversoul or an undersoul or something like that that's actually tapped into sort of this cosmic consciousness. Viking would know all about this. Anyways, you're tapped into this consciousness in which, even though you talk forward to somebody, that you're not allowed to lie, or you got to actually reveal what you really believe, because you're tapped into, because of your overconsciousness, underconsciousness is tapped into a God consciousness. You got to tell people what you really believe. And I have a hard time with the reverse speech as a Christian, but I cannot, I've heard too much of it. There's something to that. And
It
Right,
comes
go
across
ahead.
as it comes across like a byproduct because through the reverse speech, you got to, you just observe it. It's like, oh, see, they said this. It's like, yeah, because it'd be a byproduct of their own intentions and agenda, and it's leaking through their language. If they're telling a lie, there's a distortion in the frequency, and then through the reverse speech, you can kind of get what they're trying, not what they're really
Right,
saying
because
or yeah.
reverse is tapped into like a universal consciousness, like Hillary Clinton. She talks about she did this and she did that, and then in reverse, she would say, "I'm a really rotten, evil person." I mean, you would actually hear it. I
Mm.
mean, and
Well,
the
Can you
truth
do
that
reverse speech on yourself?
right,
well,
right.
yeah, of
But
course I
anyways,
can.
mechanics. I mean, not mechanic. Vikings here. So I've been wanting to get a piece of him for a long time. So let him go. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a lovely way of me. Hi, I'm going to punch you in the face. It's like, we're just here for a casual chat. So but it's kind of telling where I think also the reverse speech. There's an element. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's not. Look, this is our evidence. Look, I've been watching a lot of Line of Duty, so I know way too much about the British legal system at the moment. But it's as I said, it's like a byproduct, and it's circumstantial evidence, if I can say it that way. It's not like Joe Biden at a what is it, the foreign council of foreign relations,
Council
where
Foreign Relations.
yeah, where he said on camera at a public meet or a public event, he he actually extorted someone in the Ukraine. That's there's a chunk of evidence right there. You don't have to find anything. But with reverse speech, it's like something's there. We have to look into this. And when you it's like it's the cherry on top of the cake if we're using Hillary as an example, because we know she's completely evil. 56 people near her, friends, work colleagues, have apparently all committed suicide. I don't care who you are in history, that's not right. No one should do that. And I remember the one that I remember is I remember this is Hillary speaking. I remember we landed in Bosnia and we had to run from the plane from sniper fire, and then someone showed the video footage and it's a 6-year-old handing her a bunch of flowers.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow. So Viking, a response to the last 3 minutes.
I have nothing to say here.
Free will, ladies and gentlemen, free will.
I just, I mean, the only time I think in the old days, remember the Beatles album that came out and the reverse speech was "Paul was dead." That's kind of as far as it goes. It was. I think there is some validity and truth to it. I think HiJacker is right on. I don't doubt what he's saying, and it's just all kind of how things are very interesting the way they transpose into reality. It's just kind of synchronicity.
Yeah, and there's an element of duality which does exist, but it's not a major controlling factor. In a way, there's an agreement for duality, and whatever's happening I'm calling it the change till someone weaponizes that, because every other word's been weaponized. We're realizing there's completely more options compared to blue or red or left and right or Republican and Democrat, and the duality in a way confines you to a very small sandbox. But in the playground there's swings and a slide. And I'll stop there because I just realized I could ramble on about Plato's cave, and I've just turned reality into a primary or an elementary school yard, which still kind of works. But you see what I'm trying to say here.
No, it totally works. That's called thinking outside the box, right?
Yeah.
And all you great entrepreneurs and your great minds of our time thought outside the box. They had to literally break all the shackles of what they were told is reality to manifest their own reality.
As well, I just thought of an example is in California. They decided to get rid of plastic straws, and so you get paper straws packaged in plastic. Well done. However, if you actually had a brain, you don't need a white coat. You just have to think like, well, maybe stop making petrochemical plastic straws and go into hemp or bamboo or something else. But no, they just go with the duality of like, this bag is evil, so we have to ban all bags. Like,
and they make it the worst straw ever too.
Yeah, and it's like, well, why don't you make this bag out of a plant-based product that's been known to man for thousands of years? But the straws are bad. Like,
I know, it's like, what's going on here? You know.
Yeah, it's that level of confinement in thinking. It's that level of confinement in thinking where
it's like them thinking the cows are going to be responsible for, manufacturing the CO2 that's going to doom the planet. It's a control mechanism, a false flag. But what they're actually trying to do here, this whole CO2 elimination, is they're terraforming this planet because the Dracos and the reptilians can't live on a planet that has CO2.
Yeah, they need. Is it nitrogen? They're more. Yeah, they've got a different.
Is that right?
Yeah, so that's false flag in an attempt to, depopulate the planet and turn it into a nitrogen-based planet.
Yeah, and John Kerry, who's either Frankenstein's monster or Jaime from Get Smart, came out and said,
or Lurch.
Yeah, Lurch's younger brother, Dumb. We have to remove CO2 from the atmosphere, and it's like, so you want to kill all plant life? What? Right. And we have to ban carbon, but we're carbon-based life forms. Can we have some parameters on this?
Have you heard the algorithm that Jim Carrey's actually the double for Biden with the skin mask? No. I mean, it makes sense because he can't pull it off. I mean, if anybody can pull it off, he actually could.
But the different shape. But who knows?
I'm just saying it's out there. People.
Oh yeah. I'm not challenging you.
It's an algorithm.
Yeah. That's the algorithm. Like the other algorithm where it's like, no, someone got high and watched Face Off with John Travolta and Nick Cage, and they've taken that for a run. Where apparently Biden and Trump had a face swap. Now, that could possibly happen, but you'll notice because if you actually have Biden stand next to Trump, Biden could climb into Trump like a mechanoid bot. It's because Trump's a large man. It's not, and Biden's old and frail. I mean, you probably need a chairlift to go up the 3 stairs. I'm just taking this analogy way too far because my mind just kicked in.
I love watching John Travolta playing Nick Cage playing John Travolta. That's some of my favorite.
Yeah, I need to watch it again. I needed to watch it again because it shows Cage and Travolta actually they're doing their acting and they've worked together.
Bizarre. It's so funny. I'm just trying to kiss my wife or whatever,
Yeah. I actually own a copy of Planet. It's Battlefield Earth, and I watched it recently. Yeah. And it's like, well, I don't know why this got dumped on. It's not that bad.
No, it's actually not that bad. It's kind of fun.
I think it's people because from Hubbard and Scientology. It's like, well, it's the basic premise is aliens turn up, enslave humanity, dumb everyone down, and their resources are taken off planet. Does that sound familiar for Revolution Radio?
Well, exactly. Right.
Is that the one with the giant cockroaches?
No. Oh. No, that's Starship Troopers. Yeah, and when it came out, it got panned a lot. But if you watch it now,
I like that movie. I really like it.
Well, it's a parody, it's satire. It is actually satire, and it's like want to know more? Click here, and it's
the
just
book is really good.
I put those movies in the category of action trash. There's excellent action trash out there, though. They've all been dumped on. But if you can really appreciate action trash, there should be a station called AT. It just does action trash.
Next, coming up on the trash, we have Cobra, starring Sylvester Stallone. And Sylvester's a good actor. Like, I just watched all the Rocky films and Creed films. It's like 8 films in a row, so no one saw me for about a week. And they're good for. I can understand why Rocky was so huge in the mid '70s because it was so inspirational. And I think it was a year before Star Wars came out, and the '70s, which with all the, I'll try and bring in some a local reference for referring to the United States political system. People are saying, "Oh, we're going back to Carter with the energy and everything else like that." So I don't know enough about. I nearly said John Carter. That's a completely different subject. Speaking of Mars. However, there was all the energy crisis and everything else like that, and then what 3 or 4 states now have a state of emergency because of all the fuel, because apparently someone with an iPad tapped into a pipeline.
Right.
I think it's a false flag, personally.
I think it's false. Yeah.
And also, it's Viking, help me out here. Was it December last year or 2018? Because of Trump's policies and actions, it was the first time that the United States was energy self-sufficient since 1957.
You're right.
Yeah, and then Biden comes in. Biden's only been in for 4 months, and I was thinking about this earlier. Like, okay, let's just agree with the mainstream media that Trump was totally terrible and the worst president ever, and Biden has made it worse.
Well, that's his agenda. First thing he does is he closes down the Keystone Pipeline. The very first thing he does.
Yeah, and that upset the Canadians because it was a bi-national, two-country thing, and the knock-on effect as well. Yeah, thank you. I'm not good at speaking, but I do radio, which is kind of ironic. Let's think about it. However, the knock-on effect through the economy, because say, as an example, 5,000 jobs. Now, that pipeline would be going through rural areas and across multiple states. And so it's like when an army travels, it's just not the fighting men. There's the catering,
infrastructure,
the infrastructure behind it,
the residual.
Yeah, and so small towns that would be supporting the workers, they would guess where the workers would spend their money in those small towns, and a lot of people actually upgraded their businesses to accommodate the extra commerce and influx of money. And so the knock-on effect of just, it's either between 11,000 to 40,000 jobs were lost in the first day, in the first 24 hours. So it's like Obama saying we won't have any the people that bribe them, the Congress Lobbyists, thank you. Yeah, we won't have any lobbyists. And then he gave over 1,000 jobs to lobbyists. That was my first red flag for Obama. Like, wait a minute.
Right. Well, it's interesting because Biden's trying to get this infrastructure bill passed, right? Which is like $1 trillion, I think infrastructure bill.
Yeah, 4
just
bills.
As this attack happens,
Yeah, and it's 4 months? Less than 4 months. Yeah, about a week away because it was January 2021 and we're on the 12th of May.
Yeah.
So it's just under 4 months and there's 4 bills coming from the White House and the cost of them is $6 trillion.
Trillion. Exactly.
More than that. Yeah. More than that. The past 3 bills he passed total about 11.
That we know of.
Well, I was going by.
This is stimulus bills. I mean, they're and when you have trillions of dollars, you have maybe 50 billion going to the people. The rest are rebuilding the cities that the Antifa destroyed and going into pockets of Planned Parenthood, which is not Planned Parenthood. I mean, it's just building his infrastructure of demise.
It's very similar, and anyone correct me if I'm wrong. It's similar to the financial crisis in 2008. There's a movie called The Big Short. If you want to see, it's like a black comedy and explains what actually happened because a lot of people saw it coming and they actually did The Big Short on the collapse of the thing and they made billions of dollars because they all thought, no, you're insane. That will never happen. And then it did and Lehman Brothers collapsed. However, at the end of it, Steve Carell is a brilliant actor in that movie. His character points out is the banks knew that the government would bail them out, and they all made this money, and no one's going to get put in jail. And it's very it's a similar process that we're talking about, as example of BLM, where apparently some Black Lives Matter because they only burnt down black neighborhoods, like thinking ladies and gentlemen. And so then the Democrats will get all that money to rebuild and build back better.
It was a guarantee then. It was actually a guarantee that let them burn it down. We will take care of it. It's like
even Kamala Harris. Going back to what HiJacker said about the reverse speech, you can't dismiss it 100% because you just see the action of Harris, where she actually promoted people to donate to a bail fund to get protesters out of jail that have just burnt down the local Walmart. And that's where my connection is to the reverse speech. It's not 100%. It's not platinum sealed type of evidence,
right?
But it's just it's an indicator of like, well, it doesn't surprise me. She sounds like a demon because she's acting like a demon.
Can I tell you something? When David Bowie came out with Black Star,
the
film. Or the movie, not the movie, but the 10-minute song, Black Star, and he died. I said to my friend John, I said he has a great YouTube channel. I said, hey, what does that sound like in reverse? I bet Bowie, put something in reverse. He's like, I don't know, probably not. It's probably worthless. I'm like, yeah, just throw it up, see what happens. It has like 1 million views now. It has like so many people are interested. And it has so many comments of people just hearing things, and it's really interesting, actually.
Well, it's also David Bowie. Yeah, I'm sure David Bowie was a human. However, in the multiverse, no, he's in a human body, but who knows what he's from Mars or Alpha Centauri?
He's Pleiadian.
Yeah. He had that, even if it was just through the creative aspect of his existence, he could tap into so much more than me, because I can't write like that. But he was weird, but in a good way, and he comes across as a lovely person. But he knew he was dying because it was a form of cancer, wasn't it? And so the Black Star was his farewell, his send off material. And if you just look at all the stuff from the 60s, you had over 4-5 decades of creation. And it's all unique and it's Bowie. You can always spot Bowie. He never really copied anyone. He was purely Bowie. And if he knew, like, this is the last thing, he would just open it up and put everything out, make sure it was good. But I'm sure it will be multiple level as well.
But if you look at the video, it's prophetic almost to the C-word virus that's going on.
Well, yeah, but now that could be
people shaking in the house.
Yeah. But the idea of viruses have been around for decades, like in the 70s and stuff like that, where it could be just consciousness putting forward the idea of the lockdown that happened last year went back in time in a certain aspect in energy. And so people were picking up it in a creative way. In 2013, 2014, there's a British TV show called Utopia. There was an American one made, but they cancelled it after one season, which was last year, because the main premise is a small clandestine group, secret society type of medical people, create a false virus or a false flag of a major virus, and they want everyone to get vaccines, and the vaccine is actually has a way of sterilizing certain people with the right DNA. Does that sound familiar? Yeah.
Maybe they thought they were being mocked.
Well, see, that's
the premise.
Yeah. Now it's I think it's someone who are creating this. It's like we even do it, almost weekly. What are these insane people thinking? And we start formulating a plan. Well, if it was me, I would do this, this, and this. And when you're creating a story, it's like, well, if you've only got comedy and tragedy, what's a tragic incident that can threaten humanity? And it's like, well, people say we're overpopulated. So what would you can walk through this and come to the same thing. Now, the interesting thing is it'd be a parallel to the rogue reptilians that want to take the planet for themselves and depopulate and do everything that we're seeing.
Did you know 50 to 100 years before the Titanic happened, there was a story about the Titanic? I think it really comes from
That's
creative people who make things up, and people just look at the stories and go, "Oh, we could do that."
There is an element of that as well, because on a basic, on a dualistic way, angels create and demons manipulate. And so when an idea goes out there, I saw someone in a robe under Washington D.C. in a cabin goes, "I like that idea. Let's borrow that." But there's fascination as well. Yeah, exactly. No, someone who sucks. Magneto's just misunderstood. Let's be fair.
No, because in the movies, and he's like underneath the Pentagon.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I liked the older films because it was the right age that he was part of the labor camps and the Jewish solution and everything else like that. As it gets older now, it's like, well, you'll have to, Magneto could be created in Vietnam and blah blah blah. Anyway, I've Bidened. What was it talking? Come on, man. Yeah.
Reverse.
So you heard there's a story out where Fauci is now saying that we should wear a mask for all viruses, all common. Now it's turning. They're really desperate, man. They're pushing their envelope. They know that people are waking up, so now they want to even mask them more. Their whole campaign is failing, and they're not being able to vax the amount of people that they want to vax. People are refusing the vax, and in Texas they have they're trying to do a mandatory vax. Now they're being taken to court by about 1,000 medical people. It's spiraling out of control right now.
What I find interesting, especially since all this kicked off in, I think, October, is when Wuhan, I'm not being racist, I read a map where Wuhan's first detected the virus. Has anyone pointed out, like, you remember with a doctor you could get a second opinion? I haven't seen. Try that now. You have to get a vaccine. Can I get a second opinion? No, you cannot. And apparently, according to Stephen Crowder from Later with Crowder, Fauci hasn't seen a patient for 40 years. So,
I believe it.
Yeah, but I kind of understand because they want to save people's lives allegedly during flu season wear masks. The thing is, free will. Don't tell me what to do. If I choose to wear a mask, you wear a mask. That's the thing about here in Melbourne. I don't go up to people wearing a mask and punch them in the head.
No.
It's like, well, free will. But if the government says wear a mask or you'll get a $200 fine, I have a problem with that. So it's that free will. The thing is, we should have. Our food's been contaminated. They're spraying stuff in the air and chemtrails. The gluten intolerance has gone through the roof, and humanity's been eating wheat that has gluten for 300,000 years.
Yeah, it's fine.
And,
cut it out.
The only thing that changed is they put pesticides on it with a certain chemical, and then all of a sudden people have gluten. You know what I mean? The diet's been played with. There's all this pollution and everything else like that. And
there's increased gastro reports from people thinking they can just use hand sanitizer all the time, not actually wash their hands.
Yeah, that's the thing. You need that. The body needs to actually have samples of dirt occasionally, so it can build.
Gravel India.
Yeah, well, when you're young, it's like, oh, look, he's being silly. I do it when I'm 35. I get in trouble. Thank you, Flipping. Doctor says, oh, okay, you're ugly too. That's your second opinion. I love that. And it's. Did you see the report from the CDC? Now, obviously, a grain of salt. There's a grain of salt the size of a V-dub needs to be taken with that. However, a lot of people that got coronavirus and allegedly died. I'm sure they died, but I'm not sure how. But a lot of Americans are obese, and you'll be surprised what actually obese means. It's not morbidly obese, where small children get stuck in your gravitation field. It's I was.
How many kgs is obese defined as these days?
Oh, it's depending on your height, but my waist was say 124 centimeters. Someone do the maths in imperial, and I was technically obese, and so it's very it's that level, and it's fascinating that I'm down to 117 on my waist, and I don't know if I'm technically obese, but there's extra fat. And I've done everything I can except to exercise. Guess.
Yep, that's what you got to do.
But it's the mindset and the food, but then it's a basic, eat less, move more. It's eating the right thing, eating a little bit less, and then burning calories and expelling energy. So it's you store for the winter, and it's like, well, which bloody winter? It's been 4 years.
Right.
But it's that thing of my metabolism changed because I stopped smoking weed. So the body's like, okay. Bang, bang, bang.
I stopped drinking tequila 3 weeks ago and quit dairy and wheat in my diet, and pretty much have been just doing smoothies and juice and yogurt and kombucha, and I just I think I've lost I don't know 5 stones,
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's hell. Like, I'm not sure about visiting people in the United States because I don't know where I'll get actually food. I know you sell stuff that looks like food, but I want actual food.
There's actually quite a few farmers markets, and most of the stores now have an organic section. It's pretty much the past 20 years it's gone full circle.
America's got plenty of food.
I actually came up with a joke, and then 3 years later, it's a meme, and like, damn you, collective consciousness. But if there's a health food, there's a health food aisle or organic aisle. Cool, but it begs the question: what the hell is everything else?
They never label the other aisle.
Yeah, and have you seen those?
Less expensive is what it's called.
Yeah, less food too. But they're the meme of I think it was Fruit Loops from the United Kingdom and Fruit Loops from the United States, and the one from the United Kingdom had 7 ingredients, and the one from the United States had about 65 ingredients.
Actually, it's called the Democratic Party.
Oh, right. I do apologize. Yeah.
Hey, I saw today food coloring is now being classified in the EU as poisonous.
Really?
The stuff you might make a cake with or something like that,
I used to do it all the time.
No, the food, it's the stuff that they put in drinks and to make it color. It's like, red dye number 5 or yellow number 17. It's that food coloring.
Yeah.
And then the
I
amount
never
of
trusted those anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing.
Ingredients.
Food.
Yellow
632.
It's nearly
uranium.
Apparently this Lamington's going to make me glow in the dark. I'm nearly 50, 5 decades of being inflicted with McDonald's advertising. However, I don't eat McDonald's because I finally broke that thing, but they're still in the back of the mind of that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Now the McDonald's is a good idea, but it's not a good meal. Like, you should go home and make it yourself. But if they actually had a healthy, apparently Australia started the salad bar aspect of it, because it's like, we can't get people in, because our food's toxic. Well, let's just start selling salads. All right.
Yeah, I miss the salads. They stopped selling them where I'm at.
They do a good coffee slushy in there now too, just quietly.
Yeah, I'm a cafe. I think that also started in Australia.
The coffee is really good. Yeah.
There was a restaurant in Santa Cruz back in the 70s called McDharma. And it was all vegetarian. They had the anti-nuclear sub sandwich, and it was and cool. they got sued by McDonald's.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's even coming to America. The first one where it's McDowell. Yeah, and so I wonder if they got the idea from there. There's I think it's a vegetarian restaurant in St Kilda here in Melbourne, and it's almost world famous. It's Hey What You Think, but it's called Lentil as Anything.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. So Monty, you got a second hour, right?
Yep. You're coming up to the break. Yeah.
So now that we're done with the girly chit chat, get it out of the system. And the second hour, let's go to heavy combat.
All right.
So I'll go get my BDUs.
I got my
Arm up. We're gonna go heavy.
I'll put on my
arms. Yes, call to arms.
If Monty lets it, if Monty lets it go,
Well, I mean, there is.
If you want to do a comedy show, but.
Yeah, reverse speech is. Listen, reverse speech is just as girly as anything else. Okay.
What? And you're saying that going to duality, you're saying the feminine energy is wrong. Mr. Young, I point my finger at you.
Hey, no, I'm very masculine.
No, I mean, it's girly chit chat. They talk about diets and, oh, what did you eat today? And how much do you weigh? And what movie did you watch?
Yeah, and how many people are morbidly obese, and that's affecting the healthcare systems.
And men talk about reverse speech, right?
And doom and gloom.
No, we're going to go deeper than that. We're going to get into it.
See.
Yeah, but
Viking knows where I'm going. Viking knows how angry I am.
Yeah, but women are hot. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah, they laugh. Women are great. I mean, they laugh. They're happy. Women were made for love. Men were made for war. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I can see why humanity's in its trouble now. I thought the man was there to protect the woman who can give birth. I like it. Women are the fairest sex. They can give birth. Can you imagine a man giving birth? No, you can't.
You're like
He's got
pooping
a point,
rocking chair.
Yeah, imagine taking a woman that's got the eggs in her, and she's going to go on the front line of combat, and she's actually going to take life.
They do it every day.
Joan of Arc,
right?
One name, Joan of Arc.
Yeah, and then somebody, I forgot, it was Rob Skiba. He went to a prison, and he found these people that actually did murder. They admitted, I murdered that person for whatever reason. They banged my wife or whatever it was. They intentionally murdered. Anyways, they took a sample. They took a test of their DNA, and they all had a marker at a certain point in which people that did not murder did not have. So you take women with eggs and you're going to put them on the front line of combat to kill other human beings. You don't think that's going to put markers on their ovaries, on their eggs?
It's their DNA.
Their DNA, right.
There's also going back to base level of humanoids. If you have a female in the group of combat, I mean, it's worse. I mean, I'm cool. Let women in. I'm not going. I'm not stupid enough to be shot at. But if a woman is wounded or taken down, guess what the men are going to do on a base level is they'll protect the woman instead of the mission and all that type of.
They need to have their own team like Strike Force Ninja Gaddafi had. Yeah, but
it's so ridiculous now with former Vice President Biden. I like that from Crowder. It's like, don't call him president. He is former Vice President. Having Air Force pilots, jumpsuits to accommodate pregnancy. What moron is getting into an F-16 and doing 5Gs while trying to grow a baby?
No one is, but it gives Big Pharma lots of money.
Yeah, but that's the level of pandering. It's like, we think, pregnant women should be in combat. It's like, no.
No, it's just pigs at the trough. It's just pigs at the trough. It's a silly idea. It's pigs at the trough. As if anyone's going to be up in a plane.
Yeah, no, Jessica Lynch, the reason why they made her such a hero is, and she ended up getting paid so much money at the end, is she ended up being gang raped. Orally, vaginally, anally. I mean, like 26 guys. I mean, she's just like, that's what they did to that U.S. soldier. Why would you take a woman and put her in combat like that and put her in that kind of position? But we're just warming up for the second hour, folks. This is Monty Dean playing at Collingwood. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a comedy show.
That.
What a way to end it. And that was part one of Planet Collingwood, where we end on gang rape. Let's make a joke about
step out of that one leg at a time.
Let's just everyone walk backwards. Don't make eye contact. So yeah, it's just weird. And then my thing is like it's government funded. That's code for taxpayer funded. And Planet Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
Thank you. I'm so disgusted I can't even say them. They're evil. like, I'm not against abortion, but I don't think it should be cosmetic, and I think you should pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
There was two days ago. AOC came out saying how many lives Planned Parenthood had saved, and we need to keep it going. And she was absolutely. I mean, I felt like throwing up. It was like saving lives. Yeah, how many lives have they taken?
Yeah, how many? What?
And throwing into adrenochrome and harvested, and I'm like, it's just like evil organization. Evil. 60
million African Americans could have been on the planet, but because of Planned Planet. But you know, also just before we go to the break, remember Elon Musk is an African American as well. There you are. He's white, but still. This is Planet Collingwood. It's an open round table. We have 2 more people entering the Octodong of Octodong. We've got 2 more people turning up afterwards, so stick around. It's going to get a bit interesting. Yeah. I just love doing that. Sounds trying to run upstairs. Hello, welcome back to Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. You are on Revolution Radio Studio A. This hour is brought to you by SJ's Ninja Dojo for Squirrels. Let your rodent defend you. If you enjoyed the last hour, please go to revolution.radio or freedomslips.com and donate what you can so we can continue on broadcasting Studio A and B. As well as I think Dave Scott Spaced Out Radio has just ended. So the 3 people that have come across, hello. This should be interesting. And then go to the Zazzle store, buy some merchandise, and then pop into the chat room and hang out with awesome people. Because, you know, we're humanity. We like to be social. Let's be fair. Now we've been joined by 2 more correspondents of Planet Collingwood. We have from Eagle Eye. Eagle, are you from Arizona? Are you in Arizona, or am I wrong?
Estados Unidos, Wisconsin. Okay.
Oh, Wisconsin. I'm way off. So, see what? I got drunk one night and chopped up all the states of the US and threw them up and stuck them back again. I thought Arkansas was next to Kansas, but that, yeah, it's because it's Arkansas is just AR Kansas. Anyway,
quite refreshing to get back with you, my friend, from the other side of the big pond. It's good to hear you and all the people here at the table. I'm full of some warm fuzzies to share. You know, a couple little warm fuzzies. Yeah, you know, it's our Klaus Schwab. You know, this guy. Can you believe what they got going on now, Monty and the rest of the crew? They've actually invented an edible test kit. It's called Schwabaroni. It's the San Francisco treat, you know?
Yeah, that's just odd. Herr Schwab is just odd because he dresses in Japanese samurai clothing and has a German accent and talks about Vivo actually resets the world. I'm getting some really bad vibes from you right now. And we've
oh, go ahead. We'll finish him up later. That's fine.
Oh yeah. So
I got a couple of wingers.
Oh, good. Just put them on the shelf there and bring them out at the right time, because we've also been joined by the mechanic. Guess what he does?
Yeah, well, I turn wrenches, Chief.
Nothing wrong with that. I go to you and give you money because I'm a complete debt.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of people.
My car's making a funny noise. Have you taken the Justin Bieber CD out of the changer?
Have you taken the wheel clamp off?
There's this really loud clanging, and it seems So,
Monty, speaking of money, you do this show. I mean, you live in Australia where a US dollar is like worth $10 in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So where can people keep your show going and help you out? You got some weird type of waferthick.com.
Wafer Thin Entertainment.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Wafer Thin.
People can support you.
If you go to YouTube, put in Wafer Thin. It's actually a joke from Monty Python's Meaning of Life, where the really big fat guy, the waiter comes over and says, "Would you like a wafer thin mint?" Go away, I'm full. Oh, but it's wafer thin. He eats it and explodes. So that's where wafer thin, and plus the idea of instead of wafer thin entertainment, like if it sucks as well, it's in the name. And there's a PayPal button on my YouTube channel page. You just click on that and you'll be able to PayPal into that. And I get one or two people helping me out. And I'd like to say to those people, I'm still alive because of you. So you can put that in the Akashic record. You're saving lives. Well, mine. And no lives, me and my cat. So thank you. And
and only a couple of dollars really means a lot.
US dollars. Oh, I love you. Yes. I got someone gave me $20 and it's like, that's nearly $30.
Yeah. I just wanted to get that in there. So are we getting ready to go into combat, or does anybody want to do any more girly
I just got thrown out the air by Jacker, and I'll be taking the mic back real quick. I thought you had something valid to say, but no. But thank you, Monty, for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Now that we get back to the important things, let's talk about the ludicrousness that's going on the streets of America right now. Anybody want to touch on that?
Well, as an outsider, don't really see it that much, but it's been going for so long. Like the whole January 6th insurrection.
It is up the level, bro. Yeah, it is up the level.
I was just gonna tee you up, and then you can slam the ball home.
Sounds good.
January 6th, the FBI are trying to find grandmas that enter the Capitol because they're terrorists, and yet in Portland, it's still on fire, and it's been going over a year, and they're burning down federal buildings, trying to burn down federal buildings and everything else like that, but they're protesting. It's like, that's part of the division we're seeing as well, where a Republican can say something and they're vilified and nearly get thrown in jail. A Democrat can say the same thing and then they get praised for saying it.
What's Rambo up to? Rambo 6? They need to make Rambo 7, like the bit where he comes back and is the guy who gets stuff all back in working order.
Oh no, he'd be put into Facebook jail.
Did you hear where they want to have Antifa and Black Lives Matter up for the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't been personal organization of the year on time yet.
Exactly. It is, but this is reality.
Yeah,
they want to put it up for the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, this is like
none of this is reality, Viking. You know that. Come on, none of this is reality.
Yeah. Well, Nobel hasn't been great.
It's a false created reality. It's that
right. So mechanic, what's the narrative?
Hang on a second. It's what I've noticed with the Democrats at the high end, like the inauguration was a perfect example. Their false reality that they're pushing, they're completely delusional. Where we're
100.
We're saving America, and you've just seen the last 4 months, and it's made everything worse. Someone shared a photo of Trump, Netanyahu, and two other gentlemen. I'm sorry, I forgot who they are, but it was like a peace accord or a peace treaty. And now look what's happening in the Middle East. That's only at least 5 months ago that there was peace in the Middle East. Biden gets in, and here we are.
Right. So, mechanic, what's the two narratives I was going to put up? The most important thing? What was I going to say?
Tell us.
No, before you degraded it to Black Lives Matter.
Are we going to go to war and Black Lives Matters and Antifa are up for a Nobel Peace Prize? You want to run it back around again? You want to circle back around again? We can do it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the most important thing.
According to you. Go ahead, run it.
No, you got two narratives going here. You do know the two.
That's what we're pointing out. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the two main narratives, and this is what Charlie Ward is putting out. Simon Parks.
I'm impressed.
What's his name? I can't think of what's his name on Revolution Radio.
Thingamajig.
Rusty or somebody like that.
Krusty.
Yeah, I can't think of it. So the narrative is this, that Donald Trump is actually in power, and that everything that we're seeing with the Biden administration, between the rubber mask, which he is wearing, somebody's wearing, and the House of Representatives and Democrats and everything they're doing, looting the country, all of that is like all staged, and that what we're really seeing is that Donald Trump is in power. He's in control of the military. He's got the special forces. Hillary Clinton was just hanged in Guantanamo. We got all that. So Viking. No, this is for Viking.
Jack is not saying this. He's reporting on what other people are saying.
I'm just going in my opinion. I understand. Go ahead, proceed.
No, they're getting a lot of hits, Mechanic. They're getting a lot of print, and so Viking, you were a QAnon. You were a Q'd, not a disciple. A Q.
Why don't you let Viking speak for himself? Jeez.
Well, I'm going to hear the question.
Well, you were a Q apostle. And so now that we see
advocate.
Oh, now you've graded yourself down.
Just get to the question. Hey, stop. You're wasting airtime. Get to the question.
Okay, I know this question. So this was happening.
Okay,
so
you go ahead.
This is a false flag here with this presidency. It has bifurcated into two camps. There's a Trump camp. He's still in control of the military. He still has his roundtable of generals and whatever, that are negotiating the certain strategy. He basically let this occur because the whole premise here is to awaken the masses, and this is what he's done. He's awakened the masses. Ever since day one, people have an opinion now with them they never had before. They were asleep at the wheel, and the deep state was totally in control. So by letting Biden take his tenure, it's showing the ludicrous and the absolute insaneness behind their agenda. And the other camp where Biden has not even gone into the Pentagon, the White House is completely dark. He has to film his Oval Office in two studios, Castle Rock and in Georgia. There's two separate camps. But Trump is not in control or controlling Biden. He's exposing Biden.
I don't buy it. The country's going down a really, really rough, quite honestly, a shithole right now.
Right.
I can't believe that Trump would stand by and let a supposed hack take place on a pipeline that covers what does it cover? Like 47% of the East Coast.
Yeah, well, like 9 out of 11 red states. It's all like red states except for two.
But you understand that when this comes around, that's a false flag. How many more people are going to wake up and see how ludicrous?
Yeah, but here's the problem.
They have to play out. They have to play their hand all the way to the very end.
Okay, well, here's my problem on it. Is that we've had over 110, some say 120, other people say like outrageous numbers of people who've been vaccinated. We had a U.S. Senator come on Tucker Carlson tonight, and for the first time, not even Tucker said this number. This U.S. Senator, you can go Google this right now. Roberts somebody.
No. It's Rand Paul. I played the video.
No, it's not Rand Paul. It's somebody else.
Somebody else?
All right, because he did not get vaccinated. This U.S. Senator came on, and Tucker Carlson talked to him, and he goes, in the first 30 days, 3,000 people died from the vaccine. Yep. That is actually a new number.
There's a U.S. Senator said this? You don't know his name? Damn it. Jacker?
Well, just look up Tucker Carlson. The senators that's
sorry, I don't have the man's poster on my wall.
So, Mechanic, are you just here to run interference? Because I'll just jump off the.
Your name's HiJacker, and you're complaining about me hijacking your speech. All right, do what you want to do, Jacker.
I mean, we're both in the same camp. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, we're in the same camp. I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm with you on the conversation. I just wish you knew the guy that Tucker was interviewing. That's all. That's all I want to know.
It's tonight. It's tonight.
All right.
That's all you need.
That's enough.
So
that's fine.
Here's my question, Viking, is that, we had Trump. He knew that this COVID-19, a week before, he shut the whole government down. He said it was nothing but a super flu, a fake flu, whatever he said. And then, boom, he detonated a bomb. He shut the whole country down. 50 million unemployed. Millions. Why
are we doing a year in review? Ask the question. Vikings aware of the year in review. Go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is, how can you say that Trump and the military is in control when we're seeing such devastation You're saying in order for us to wake up, we've got to give up like a third of our country, turn all this stuff over to China, have all this devastation.
Yeah.
I mean, come on,
Jacker.
Viking.
I'm with Jacker. I'm with Jacker here, Viking.
Yeah, I know you are.
I know you are. I'm with Jacker. Garbage. Right.
Yeah. So what say you, Viking? I mean, come on. We're pretty pissed off.
Wait. The question's been put forward. Allow the man to respond.
No, Monty. No.
All right. Oh no. Hey, come on. Please. All right. I'm going to talk hairdressing. Go ahead, Viking.
Go ahead.
I still. So again, this is a plan bigger than this whole scape of subjugation. You know, it is an agenda of subjugation, and the larger picture here is people need to wake up out of the subjugation. If you sit here and
100 million dead,
if you fight in there,
vaccine,
let the man answer.
It's still there. It's still their free will and choice to do so, and in doing so,
a 9-year-old child, 12-year-old children being vaccinated. Come on, what are you talking about?
I'm not condoning it, but at the same token, there's too many people out there.
It's biodiversity, right, Viking? Biodiversity.
They're co-phobic, and they're playing out this role. It's an absolute role that they're playing out here in order to expose the greater picture that this whole thing is a ruse. I mean, this has to happen. They have to play their part. The deep state has to play their part to the bitter end to wake up because every time that they put a foot forward, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are waking up to understand that this is absolutely a tragedy. Like you, but you can't go in there. You can't go in there. You can't go in there in the middle of this basketball game and grab the ball and say you know. It has to play out. It literally has to play out.
Unfortunately, mass murder. Mass murder has to play out.
Unfortunately, because they have to put in the element of marketing, and bear with me. Because still, the mainstream media's idea of Trump is that he's evil. And if he brought him in that quickly, it will reinforce the idea that they're putting forward. And so I can see where Viking's coming from, where it's got to basically you have to ask Trump to step in. Is that a good way of explaining it?
Well, there has to be enough people. In order for this to work, the Americans as a populace has to make this work. He can't. If he came in right now, it would be skewed as a coup. And that's not going to work. That's not going to work. The people have to rise up in force en masse and say, we're not going to put up with this bullshit anymore. Yeah. At that point, the whole thing will turn. The tides will turn.
And
more people are waking up.
Hey, we're getting complaints.
And by the way, that 7-year-old is on contract to take the vaccine to wake us up. That was their agreement. I mean, I know you don't see this.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. The example I'm going to give to back up what Viking's saying there is Trump could not go into Portland unless he was invited. It's like a reverse vampire. Trump's not a vampire.
He offered himself too. He says, I'll come in, just invite me.
But because of the way that the laws and the structure is, if he went in, he would.
I made a contract as a 2-year-old male, blue-eyed, blonde-haired baby at 2 years old to be sacrificed on the Vatican altar to be my blood be drunk. Right. I made that contract for the sake of humanity. I mean, come on.
But here's the other side here. Who's to say in the past life he didn't kill 10 kids? I mean, this is where you have to understand that duality right now is playing out and reflecting the encumbrances and the pain and suffering that you manifested in a past life. So you can resolve it. We're in the time of resolution here. We are resolving ourselves into a new paradigm of existence, and we have to clear out all of these states of encumbrances. It's a tough one. That's the toughest one for humanity. Is that the pain and suffering?
So Viking, why wouldn't World War I?
Wait. Pain and suffering you are experiencing, you actually manifested in a past life. You need to resolve it now. Understanding.
In that point of view, it's a playing the long game.
You got a lot of callers coming in.
I'm going to move on because we've got more people.
You got a lot of callers coming in.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to turn into a traffic cop. We have been joined by two gentlemen. I'm going to introduce the first one because I'm pedantic that way. He came in first. Please welcome John Wayne, not the actor.
Good evening. Thanks for having me on, man. Hey, I don't know if you guys have talked anything about Israel and what's going on over there, but That's a major flashpoint, and not only that, but other big cities around the country are starting to get involved with that as well for divisive measures within other realms of other divisive measures. So.
Yes, thank you. I'll put that on the shelf. So we'll probably get back into about 60 seconds. I also just want to introduce Chicago Brew. Lord Brew, how are you, sir?
Mr. Wayne.
Hello. When you speak of Israel, when they ramp up their bombing of Syria and, of course, the more killing and ravaging of the Palestinians and stealing their homes and whatever, they're just playing their part and their role in trying to battle COVID. So you can't really, they deserve some praise in what they're doing because you can't.
Yeah, I find it fascinating in the mainstream. This may sound controversial, but I think there should be a state of Israel. I also think there should be a state of Palestine. I think you should free Palestine and free Israel as well, because it's been used as a patsy. The thing is, like, the Palestinians are doing all this stuff. It's like, yeah, but why? No one asks us the question because they don't want the answer. If you get kicked in the nuts 7 decades in a row, of course they're going to respond. I'm not condoning it. I'm not supporting it. But it's not that hard to figure out. It's like, well, why are they doing this?
What do you do if two children fight? You take the toy away from both of them. Make a park out of it.
Well, what I'm thinking about is, look, we might as well, since we're letting everybody else flood into this country over here, hey, why not just take every single last Palestinian and give them a nice plot of land over in Montana somewhere?
That's nice country.
I'm just saying this is the point now where they are literally gauging everything in such a way to keep people as divided as they can keep them, so they can completely destroy everything that they can even get their hands on.
Right. Well, we got the big picture at play, and I'd like to take a vote where there's 10 people on the call. Let's take a vote on, do the oligarchs, Biden, Democrats, the one worlders, whatever, the Jews, whatever you want to call them, do they got control of this world, or is it Donald Trump and the United States military that's got control?
Nobody has control of that. Nobody has
saying,
control of anything, Jacker. Nobody has control of anything. Donald Trump is nothing. Biden is nothing. The whole world has come to its own set of circumstances because of how everything's been propagated for so long.
So you want to basically say the evil ones basically got control?
No.
We're going into genocide.
No.
I believe he said no one's got control.
If we're going with the light and the dark at this point in time, like the
dark, nobody's got control. I vote the dark's got control.
No, they don't.
John Wayne votes nobody's got control. What do you vote, Monty?
I'm going to go with no one at the moment because the dark always have
2 votes for you.
Let me finish. Sorry, host guest.
After you, Monty. After you, Monty.
Oh, thanks for being on my show.
Welcome to the Jacker show.
Yeah, Planet Jacker. Yeah. The problem is that the Team Dark or League Dark or all them they like to have controllable chaos where they have outcomes and plans. What we've been seeing is there's natural chaos. There isn't controlled chaos because they're also panicking as well. And you can see multiple things like the whole COVID narrative is falling apart because no one believes it. Enough people aren't believing it and they're fighting it. Where why do they need a marketing campaign for a deadly disease? It's basically at that level.
So here's the idea, guys. We get everyone riled up. Demonstrating about everything, and then we'll calm them down, and then we'll just calm them down. Flick them on, flick them off. Doesn't work that way.
Now the election's over, we'll call for unity. It's been 4 months ago. Come on.
Yeah, but who's got control? Cortex, light, dark, or nobody?
No one does. It's like trying to control a dream.
I like this. Technically,
John, Chicago, and then Viking.
Okay, so now check it out. There is evil, without a doubt. There is something happening on the earth where people are completely, absolutely losing it. But you do have light. Okay, you got both sides, yeah. But for control, command, conquer. I run this place. Hey, man, nobody's running anything right now. The whole world is in a state of chaos, one way or the other. let it be natural, man-made, or even forces that we can't even comprehend.
Yeah, well, when I mean to clarify, when I say it's natural chaos, it's the dark doesn't control the chaos because the 90s and the early noughties, which is a stupid term, like the Afghanistan war and Iraqi war. There's still chaos, but there's parameters where they can shift things. Well, we can do this and do that. They've lost control of the chaos at the moment.
Right. Well, like the Brew, where do you come in? Viking. He says the lights on the side. I say the dark. So John Wayne,
Chicago,
Monty, Chicago, right? They're saying nobody's got control. So, Brew, what do you say?
I don't know. I just want to touch on the state of Israel thing. Do you think we can make the whole state of Israel? Do you think they'll all fit in Guantanamo Bay?
There's nothing wrong with the state.
That's not even activism. That's emotion.
There's nothing wrong with the state of Israel. It's the Zionists that have perpetrated their government as the control of their government. The people in Israel are fine. It's the same way here.
Not anymore. They've been forced inoculated, disarmed.
They have an extreme
locked inside their borders. They're prisoners in their own country.
One at a time, and quickly to the mechanic. That comes down to the government and the controlling of it. Yeah.
Hold the fort. First of all, I made a nice little joke. Do you think the people of the state of Israel can all fit in Guantanamo Bay?
No.
That's where That's where a good 50% of them belong. Guantanamo Bay, because there's a criminal enterprise there. That's basically their mafia headquarters. And number two, that is not theirs. That is not their land. The creator is not a real estate agent. He did not give that to them, and they don't belong because they're not even the real Israelites. They are phonies, imposters, and whatever that took over something that they knew they figured out they could play to the nth degree.
And I believe you're right about that. I believe the real tribes of Judah are still scattered to not the 4 winds, the 8 winds by now. And what's going on there right now? I mean, the kings of the east are preparing. Okay, I've been looking at all kinds of reports. You got Jordan, Turkey, Iran, then obviously that's going to pull Russia and China in. The United States is a purported ally of Israel. I mean, I don't know how that stands now with creepy, sleepy, dementia, Alzheimer's ridden Joe Biden, and then communist Kamala. But the thing is, I mean, there's total destabilization going on across the world right now. I've been looking at videos out of Colombia of the police just gunning citizens down in the street, riding around on their. Is that what that's over? I mean, I didn't know what it was all over.
I think the Texas was the touch paper that lit. We've also been joined
by somebody else, Monty. Somebody else called in.
It was a bit. Yeah, another person. So now we're up to 11, including the server. So thanks for that. I have to work now. Brian, Brian, are you there?
So sorry.
And it's joined. So Brian just told us all his bank details. Unfortunately, it didn't go to air.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
The server's back on.
Server's back, and basically he was talking, we're not sure where it actually dropped off, but South Park has moved to HBO Max. They did actually show you could see the episode on their website, and it's true South Park, where they cover everything and they try not to lean one way or the other. They don't try and upset the audience too much. They're smart enough ones to watch it.
Monty, that's the lesser magic where they got to tell us so. This South Park, where they tell about the pandemic, child sacrifice, the Green all the rest.
HiJacker, calm down a second. Here, check it out.
There's that'd be more important than that. Come on.
Wait.
Well, I mean,
what do you got?
By God, I wouldn't want nobody to step upon your name, would I? I wouldn't want nobody to step upon my name neither.
All right, children, don't make me turn. I'll turn this radio show. I'll turn this. We'll go home.
You better stick to the important stuff.
Mr. Wayne, go ahead.
What do you got, John Wayne?
Well, I guess Poppy and much to it are saying, "Oh, we're just absolutely full of gloom and doom." Hey, man, they all better check the news out and see what's going on around the world. Okay, when I report something, it's not just because it's something fancy to say on air, man. No. I'm reporting to you facts. And if you just want to go ahead and, these people just want to kick us off the side, say, oh, you guys are doom and gloom, you're fear porn artists, or whatever the case may be. Hey, you know what? Check it out. I'm bringing people factual information and news, man. This is real.
The thing is, when there's a lot less people moving around, a lot less people are talking to each other and passing on this news, And a lot of stuff going on in the wings, and it's dead of night.
And it's how you observe the information. John's not saying this is 100% true. He's just reporting, okay, this is happening. What is going on? So he's just analyzing it. He's not actually on the pulpits. What's the word? You know what I'm saying.
Let me throw this in here. Let me throw this in here. Even if we were moving around and talking to people, we'd get the same reaction we had before. Just as right now, we don't have to be moving around to talk to people because we have all sorts of information, our outlets. We have Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Odyssey, whatever it may be, Telegram. And when you talk to people about this, you know what the first response is? Fake news, conspiracy theory, shut up.
You can't have these conversations with people. I don't
want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Okay, so the Viking said, "Oh, well, this is a big thing. More people are going to be talking about it, and they're getting woke up, and they have opinions." Yeah, no, you know what? They're concerned about their well-being. They're concerned about the roof over the head, the money going in their pocket. They got the stock market, cryptocurrency. Whatever it may be, trying to have fun. There's a bunch of people out there that were hedonists before, and they're still hedonists now. They were drug addicts before; they're drug addicts now.
That's right.
They don't care. They're not really waking anybody up. And what did we have during this time? We had Donald Trump didn't just leave office that kicked off Operation Warp Speed in the vaccination process, but now that he's out of office, he went on with Maria Bartiromo and said, "Oh, I love the vaccine. Everyone should take the vaccine. Oh, it's sad that they even stopped the Johnson & Johnson vaccine." So I don't understand what part and what play that he has on this. I hear both narratives. I hear the Scott McKay. I hear the Johnny Delirious. I hear all this other stuff. Oh, we're in control. We're doing this and that. But at the same time, millions of people got to die, or get hurt, and vaccine damaged, and all this other stuff. This is causing trouble. Look, what we understand about this vaccine is never going to get out of people's system, and they've already damaged enough people. Now they've passed the Pfizer, the FDA, who only has emergency use for all this vaccine crap, just authorized Pfizer to give vaccines to 12 and 15-year-olds from this experimental freaking drug that they're pushing around.
Right.
So what part are they stopping? I don't get.
Right, and the dovetail of what Brew is saying. 50 million people lost their jobs. 30 million are going to be homeless. I mean, look at the devastation, economic, political. I mean, life. I mean, vaccinating children growing up with masks. I mean, where they can't even recognize when they go to the first grade. They got people with faceless people. I mean, look at the amount of devastation that happened in the last year of Donald Trump. I mean, come on.
What about the deaf people? What about deaf people who can't lip read? Do you think of that?
No, I haven't, but very well played. We can condense it all down to mental illness has gone through the roof. And if anyone's listening to the show, you can see.
But Viking says that's what we need in order to wake up. He's saying we need this level of massive devastation, one thermonuclear bomb after another, in order to wake up.
Okay,
I don't believe you ever said that.
Well, why didn't they use that argument when they were going against Germany? When they said Germany killed 6 million people and whatever, why didn't they use that argument for that? Well, we needed you to wake up, so
Brew, I know you don't believe that.
Yeah, but okay, well, then as a placeholder, that it's plausible. How else are you waking other? Because everyone's been divided. You can see. I mean, try and have a conversation on this show.
Monty, we're on the verge of mass genocide of people.
Yes,
come on, Monty.
I'm clearly. I'm avoiding my reality of outside. I've been doing this for 5 years. They've been using that fear for so long, even going back to 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis. And they're seeing it's not just the vaccine. I'm not happy about the vaccine. You're dealing with it. Stop interrupting, please.
Come on.
I'm thinking of the listener. If you keep interrupting, we're talking over each other. People won't listen.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have valid points, but it's getting complaints that we're talking over each other. So yeah. I've done a bite and completely forgot my point.
Complaints? You mean someone's actually listening?
Yeah. The 3 people listening are writing very strong letters to me.
And Yelp.
Yeah. So now remember let's try and go into the positive thing. How can we get out of this then if it's not allowing people to wake up and like the way that Viking's putting that model forward? What can you see happening? Because it just the bigger picture, it looks like chaos. But then you go outside and your cat's scratching a tree.
Who's right?
Yeah, by
Who's
the way, the server's been knocked offline. Somebody.
Oh no! We're on now. We're still on.
Yeah, we're on now. But I'm saying is,
we're still online. Thank you.
Right. We had breaking numbers before, and I just checked.
Okay.
I mean, we've been knocked offline. Are we online now?
Yes, we caught it about 10 minutes ago.
Wow. There you go. There's our mark.
Well, welcome back to the conversation, bro.
Back to
Go ahead, Mr. Brew.
No, I got nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. At least you're honest. That's a good thing. Let's be fair. I'm having Biden moments, so that's worse.
Monty, I want you all to take a look at this video I put there in our chat log for this broadcast, and tell me what the hell we're seeing there. This, I guess, it was posted 15 hours ago, and it's modern because all the police are wearing masks.
Oh, no more videos. It always goes sideways, John Wayne.
I want you all to check it out, though.
You're not calling.
No, you can't do videos on radio.
You're not calling the shots.
I posted it. Hey, guess what? I posted the video in the chat log of the station on Chatsu.
It's basically, it's been shared. John Wayne has shared it with us as well as in the chat room at freedomslips.com.
Looks like multiple camera crews and a thespian having a nice time in a park.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, you know,
no, wait, they're cops.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, the power of discernment needs, work on your discernment, because who knows exactly what everything is going. Unless you're there, I still have moments of doubt because of the level of CGI that is actually in that's out there. Like, have you seen those face apps? And I can hear myself echoing.
Yeah, someone's echoing. You can only pump this baby up to 720p. You can't work out anything.
Yeah, it's like
the good thing out of this last hour of combat is that Q is dead. Q is dead. Viking is dead.
No,
all that narrative that Trump's coming back and the military are going to take over. That's all dead. At least we know now the enemy we're facing.
That is weird, JW.
Yeah, Vikings right here. I'm sorry, Cortex.
No.
Vikings right here. Go ahead, Cortex.
No. I was just saying that's a weird video.
That is very creepy.
He is drinking a smoothie, and he's cleaning out a system, and he's ready to go battle. It was earlier today, this afternoon, that someone's like, "Oh, did you see all those videos on Twitter?"
Someone's got the radio in.
Not me. So earlier today, someone says, "Oh, did you see all those videos on Twitter about the people putting magnets on their arms and whatever?" And then I accidentally tuned into Mechanic with Johnny Delirious today, and then Johnny Delirious brought it up. "Oh yeah, you see the people putting the magnets on their arms?" How did they even come up with to put a magnet to their arm? That's the first thing I asked.
Always with the magnets.
Yeah, it could. I have magnets lying around the house, and I walk by, and all of a sudden, this chunk of metal zooms at me. Like, yeah.
What is this? What is this story? I've not heard this.
Apparently, if you have the right,
more than just a couple, Monty.
Like neodymium.
More than just a couple of videos. There are quite a few now.
Apparently, the vaccine has
there's dozens. Yeah, there's dozens.
Apparently, I can finish my sentence. No. Because of the people have the vaccine, and then their body is magnetized, and they can have magnets stick to them and stay. I haven't seen the video. I've only seen a screen grab. I haven't seen the videos, and it's just it's Earth in 2021.
Some of these people Monty, 30 days later. Monty, 30 days later,
Jack,
after they get
check
the
it out.
vaccine.
Jack,
Let me finish, John Wayne.
Hey, no, we got it. Hey, Jack, we got it. We understand.
Yeah,
hey,
okay,
let
go
Monty
ahead.
finish. Here, so check it out. So you feast your eyes, man. I just posted Rents.com, Jeff Rentz's website. It's going to be, you just click this link and it'll be the first video headline at the very top of a bunch of these different videos.
Yeah, I see it.
I have 4 videos that have popped up on my social
you,
media
Monty?
feed of people putting magnets up to where their vaccine was administered.
Okay, Monty, go ahead.
And amazingly enough, the magnet stays in place.
Everyone's watching the magnets. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Nobody's seeing the magnets because this is radio.
Yeah, but you have Cortek commentating.
So there's a guy with a big fat belly and he's got a magnet. I don't know if it's neodymium. Seems to be sticking it to his belly.
So yeah, it's just another weird thing to log up. Earth 2021. What? So raise of hands, or I know we're on audio, but still, did anyone have human magnets for May? Like there's a bingo card.
The cabin in the woods.
Yeah, it's like the weird stuff. I mean, after that unfortunate 16-year-old that was shot, it's unfortunate that she had to be shot. But when you're going to stab someone in front of a police officer, the outcome's pretty obvious.
Can I add one more onion in the oven? You know when Obama, towards the end of his reign, was kind of doing some kind of putting some funding into brain experiments kind of thing. Do you remember that? Not really knowing what it was about. Oh, I did. Look up something called DREDS, DREDDS, or something like that, and it's all about these little kind of nanobots and stuff. And I think that's what he was researching. Another rabbit hole to dive down.
Yeah, I saw a great meme. Of, Bill Gates wants to put a chip in you, bad. Elon Musk wants to put a chip in you, good. So yeah,
all that ties in with the whole Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and when they had that whole New Mexico, and he was doing all the funding for the medical experiments and the scientists and everything else.
Yeah,
this all ties. See, I get this from Amazing Polly. I can't really verbatim say because she went down the rabbit hole, and all those documents are coming out 2 years ago. Remember?
Yeah, if you want to look them up, all the documents are there.
Yeah, Amazing Polly was going through all this stuff, and she was going through all these rabbit holes and the scientists and the medical experiments and everything that Epstein being the bagman, the middleman, was funding and whatever. This all ties in to what this vaccination is and the nanobots and all this other stuff. This is really, it's all a big, just giant web, and it all, despite what maybe people protest out there, it goes to Israel. It goes to them, and then of course their associates. They can't do this alone. They got the Jesuits and the Masons and all the other characters involved with this. But altogether, it's just a very few in the centerpiece of people that have put this together, and names that we've never crossed.
We don't actually know the controllers of, like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of calling everyone the Jews, but it's a small group of people who pretend to be Jewish that are controlling the fact, and who's above them. And you can find, as Brew just said, there are links to there's different fractions, but they're all working in unison. And
I'm not sure if working in unison is correct. I'd say more trying to get a piece of the pies.
That's it. They're working in unison, so they think they can be on top. But that's the nature of lower level evil, where they'll work with someone to get. We're dealing with psychopaths who are high functioning,
working in tandem.
That's a better way. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Now, to add to this as well, did you see last week? Apparently, some mad scientist had decided we're going to mix DNA with chimp DNA. And it's like, have you seen the Planet of the Apes movies?
That's what inspired me.
Yeah, it's that level. Like, there's a reason there's a hashtag of Alex Jones was right. We're getting to the next step. We're getting to the only thing that Alex Jones hasn't been proven right is clockwork elves.
They call
how are you going to bring that back with you?
Go ahead.
Human chimpanzees. Yeah, human chimpanzees. Humanities.
Yeah. And it's just like chimeras. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, RNA, DNA, little they're doing a little bit of shall we say alchemy. Einstein, or not Einstein, what was his name? Frankenstein,
By the way, in the 1970s, the Russians had human chimpanzees. in the 1970s, the Russians had human chimpanzees.
Yeah, I mean, someone decided. Remember in the 90s when they went public, we've cloned a sheep, and everyone's gone, how can you tell?
Well, isn't it Alex Jones and others that report that some of these vaccinations, they have gorilla DNA in them?
I'm not aware of it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Else.
Yeah, it's because it's been fast tracked. I'm not a big fan of the FDA, but the FDA still hasn't signed off on the vaccines, and the narrative's pushing, and we're trying to work it through. We know something's wrong, and we're cattle in that respect. Let's try not get bogged down in arguing over details, because we're still on the same team, wondering. And there's a form of divide and conquer there, which is just natural because we're humans. We're very. I've been watching. Yeah, I've been watching Line of Duty, and I would not show this to an alien because, wow, all those humans on that show, the characters are all deeply flawed. So deeply
page
flawed.
1.3, I think, paragraph 3, make them argue over who's right. I think that comes
right. And here's the other thing you need to
and
think
pages
about. This is the other thing you need.
Please, can I say this real quick? Very.
Okay,
John Wayne,
right,
John Wayne,
got 10 seconds. Go. You got 10 seconds.
In 10 seconds, stop eating up my 10 seconds, and I'll go. Okay, the 1, 2, and 3 pieces of paper, right? The 1, 2. You said 1, 2, 3 pages or something.
That's a 3-page leaflet. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Divide and Conquer's on the second page. It's not very long, but it keeps
going. It really makes me think of this leaflet they put in the vaccination boxes, right? That doesn't have a damn single thing written on it.
Yeah, and it's still the size of a homeless man's blanket.
Right, so I get 10 seconds now. There's my 10 seconds.
Go for it.
Yeah,
here's my 10 seconds. Ready.
Yeah, here's my 10 seconds. Suppose that these vaccines are not 1 or 2 type of vaccines, but there are hundreds. Some to turn people into pig people, some to have people be born, their children be born monkey people. You don't know. This could be hundreds of different varieties of these vaccines.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, I think it's kind of the reverse, because it's the same vaccine. Say Johnson, the different companies have variations of their vaccines because they've been created in labs. However, my point being is every human is unique, and who knows how they'll respond to it. If I can use a superhero analogy, where it's like the Fantastic Four, they had a cosmic ray or gamma ray go through the 4 of them, but they all developed their own different personal powers. Yeah, so yeah. I think HiJacker, the idea it would be reversed, where it's the same vaccine, but the outcome would be unique to the person taking it.
I go with the former. I think that there's lots of different types, and this is live trial RNA stuff that they've been waiting to do for 80 years.
I see your point, and I'm just going to raise it to it's probably both.
Now, can I add
right
here?
Now, I mean, think about blacks. They get
John Wayne, then HiJacker, and then I would like to hear
go
from
ahead.
Eagle and
seconds.
then Viking. No,
yes, thank you.
Yeah. So John Wayne, Eagle, and then Viking. Go ahead.
With the magnetism of these things, couldn't you just put a what are they called, a neodymium magnet? I mean, one of these really like industrial powered strength magnets up to your arm and just pull the thing right out.
It would probably group there. It would probably block your vein.
Possibly, yeah, from our basic level of science.
But then again, it's not intravenous. It's intramuscular.
Yes, and I'm sure there'd be a way.
Let's hear from the defeated.
Oh, can you stop interrupting, please?
Well, Viking's next. Let's hear from the defeated.
No. Let the host call it.
Yeah, host.
Stop it.
There should be a way of demagnetizing. Now, Eagle was up next, and then Viking, please. No interruptions. Go ahead, Eagle.
Thank you for having me to Planet Collingwood. I enjoy comedy and political satire. It makes me laugh and fun, so it's a good place to be. It's quite enjoyable. And it's nice that we can mix all our minds together and laugh. You know, it's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sir I. The funny thing is that actual politics is turning into satire, so it's very hard to make fun of sometimes. Viking, would you like to step into the octagon and say a sentence?
You know, this is all part of a huge agenda that's been set forth by the deep state. And you wonder who's in control. Who's controls the ICC, the interstellar corporate conglomerate, actually runs the entire Fortune 500 and all these nefarious so-called groups. You know, this is off-world draconian agenda, which is actually outlined on the Georgia Guidestones to not just control humanity, but to dispose of humanity. This is their ultimate agenda, is not to create monkeys, but to reduce the population to 50 million. And to bring our atmosphere to a nitrogen-based, this is way beyond, this little tiddlywinks here. We're talking about a huge movement that was pushed forward because they're basically been exposed and they're losing their ground because people are waking up. They're actually making a difference.
I would add to that as well. Thank you for sharing that.
Where's Trump in the Marines,
I'm sorry.
Viking?
When you hear my voice, that means I'm talking.
I mean, where's Trump and the Marines from the genocide?
All right, apparently I'm not allowed to.
I've already commented on that. Thank you.
Yeah. So
right.
What I'm getting at is thank you for sharing that, Viking. And that's what they're planning. I don't think they'll achieve it for so many reasons. And in a way, now this is just me making stuff up in my head. In a way, they're allowed to go on their merry way so they can be exposed, and so everyone else. Because how many races are in the galaxy, and they're going to, and how many are invested on the planet, and how many factions, and as above, so below. You're not going to have this one small group of New World Order taking over and doing their plans, because no one else will agree with it, because it doesn't work in with everyone else's agenda. If we
Monty,
are,
you only got 2 minutes left. Where can they basically support you? But I want to basically say, I was a hijacker. I did hijack. I came. I went. We saw. We laughed. So, Monty, where can people support you on your YouTube station? And then who's going to stay over? Who wants to do after hours combat? I'll stay over. Somebody else stays over.
Would you stop it? I got a message from Tucker Carlson's producer, and they said this is why they never have Tim on the show. If he doesn't wonder why, this is why. Stop it.
Boy, Brew, I really ran in your head. You don't even know my first name.
Can I try and respond, because we are eating up time? That's the other problem.
We'll write it.
Ourselves and interrupting.
Let's write it. Yeah, after.
Wafer Thin. Thank you, Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye is doing the after party of Planet Collingwood. Wafer Thin Entertainment on YouTube. There's a PayPal button there. Just click on that and donate what you can. It will help me out because rent. And I'm trying to remember my point, but I'm bidening. I've created a new term. That's one good thing out of this show. Viking.
Well, if you support Monty, you get more shows like this. If you support Monty, you get more shows like this. Classic.
Hopefully better. I'll get Viking. Where can people listen to you on the station?
So on the Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Studio A, the Galactic Interstellar Council, down the rabbit hole, Galactic Perspective. This week we'll be talking about the dark night of the soul and how to arm yourself against people that are still caught up in their delusion.
Thank you very much. Timely, as always. John Wayne, where can people listen to you on the station?
Oh, every Saturday, 8 to 10 p.m., Studio A. Here at revolution.radiofreedomslips.com, the unequivocal truth, DEFCON 1, Volkswagen in Defense Condition 1.
Thank you very much.
The #1 station, weekly station on Revolution Radio for a weekly broadcast. Go ahead.
And Brew, do you have a show? And if it is, it's probably when I'm sleeping. That's why I'm not aware.
Well, every Wednesday evening, 6 to 8 Eastern Time, high noon. But tune in to Viking show every Friday, and you can count how many aliens there are in the universe.
Actually, in our solar system alone, there are 40 planets that are inhabited.
Are those 40 different races?
Yes.
No. There's more than that. Oh, let's not even get into time.
Just in our solar system, they say we have.
Yes.
That's it. Is Eagle going to take us to the other side?
Yes, Eagle. You're listening to. Well, that was Planet Collingwood, not an MMA match. I'm tired. Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll be back in 26 hours, days to 22 hours. stick around for the after party if you dare. You're on Rebel Radio.